Stand and remain standing until the conclusion of the reading of the proclamation. Ladies and gentlemen, the proclamation, all persons having any business before this honorable court, now draw nigh, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Thank you.
Admission of lawyers. Andrea Lara Bertoni.
Mr. Prince.
Registrar.
Yes, may it please the court, I move that Andrea Lara Bertoni be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable.
Admit Andrea Lara Bertoni as a lawyer of this court.
James Jackson Carroll.
May it please the court, I move that James Jackson Carroll be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit James Jackson Carroll as a lawyer of this court.
Vincent Jack Cooling.
May it please the court, I move that Vincent Jack Cooling be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit Vincent Jack Cooling as a lawyer of this court.
Megan Sarah Dibley.
May it please the court, I move that Megan Sarah Dibley be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit Megan Sarah Dibley as a lawyer of this court.
Jennifer El Azzi.
May it please the court, I move that Jennifer El Azzi be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit Jennifer El Azzi as a lawyer of this court.
Melissa El Faham.
May it please the court, I move that Melissa El Faham be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit Melissa El Faham as a lawyer of this court.
James Joseph Garraway.
May it please the court, I move that James Joseph Garraway be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit James Joseph Garraway as a lawyer of this court.
Catherine Graham.
May it please the court, I move that Catherine Graham be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit Catherine Graham as a lawyer of this court.
Gina Louise Groskop.
Admit Gina Louise Groskops as a lawyer of this court.
Philip Evangelos Hatzis.
May it please the court, I proudly move that my son, Philip Evangelos Hatzis, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Philip Evangelos Hatzis be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Zilin Huang.
May it please the court, I move that Zilin Huang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit Zilin Hung as a lawyer of this court.
Danny Lewis Jan.
May it please the court, I move that Danny Lewis Jan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Admit Danny Lewis Jan as a lawyer of this court.
Oscar Curley Jefferson.
May it please the court, I move that Oscar Keeley Jefferson be admitted as a lawyer to this honourable court.
That Oscar Keeley Jefferson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lily Monley Kong.
May it please the court, I move that Lily Monley Kong be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Lily Monley Kong be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tanushka Kulkarni.
May it please the court, I move that Tanushka Kulkarni be admitted as a lawyer to this honourable court.
Let Tanushka Kulkarni be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lisa Marie Laurenday.
May it please the court, I move that Lisa Marie Laurenday be admitted as a lawyer in this honourable court.
Let Lisa Marie Laurenday be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
David Douglas Terence McClelland.
May it please the court, I move that David Douglas Terence McClelland be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let David Douglas Terence McClelland be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Joseph Francis MacDonald.
May it please the court, I move that Joseph Francis MacDonald, my son, be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Joseph Francis MacDonald be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Christian Vincent Manali.
May it please the court, I move that Christian Vincent Manali be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Christian Vincent Manali be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rosalind Martina Moffat.
May it please the court, I move that Rosalind Martina Moffat be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rosalind Martina Moffat be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elisa Bonnie Mollen Griggle.
May it please the court, I move that Lisa Bonnie Mollen Griggle be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Elisa Bonnie Mollen Griggle be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Aya Nasser.
May it please the court, I move that Aya Nasser be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Aya Nasser be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Molly Lillian Nicol.
May it please the court, I move that Molly Lillian Nicol be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Molly Lillian Nicol be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mary Oakwood.
May it please the court, I move that Mary Oakwood be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Mary Oakwood be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jordan Warren Oxenham.
May it please the court, I move that Jordan Warren Oxham be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jordan Warren Oxenham be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elizabeth Jane Carlisle Paradise.
May it please the court, move that Elizabeth Jane Carlisle Paradise be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Elizabeth Jane Carlisle Paradise be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nina Priker.
May it please the court, I move that Nina Preker be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nina Praker be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mackenzie Anae Roberts.
May it please the court, I move that Mackenzie Renee Roberts be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Mackenzie and A. Roberts be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jonathan Michael Rose.
May it please the court, I move that Jonathan Michael Rose be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jonathan Michael Rose be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Maria Ryan.
May it please the court, I move that Maria Ryan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Maria Ryan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sharath Shashindran.
May it please the court, I move that Sharath Shashindran be admitted as a lawyer to this honourable court.
Let Sharath Shashindran be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lucy Jane Shanahan.
May it please the court, I move that my daughter Lucy Jane Shanahan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lucy Jane Shanahan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rohini Singh.
May it please the court, I move that Rahini Singh be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rahini Singh be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Chanel Toma.
May it please the court, I move that Chanel Toma be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Chanel Toma be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lauren Kimberly Topper.
May it please the court, I move that Lauren Kimberly Topper be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lauren Kimberly Topper be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Destiny Alicia Valencia.
May it please the court, I move that Destiny Elisha Valencia be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Destiny Elisha Valencia be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jade Alona Walker.
May it please the court, I move that Jade Alona Walker be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jade Alona Walker be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Julia Jan White.
May it please the court, I move that Julia Jan White be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Julia Jan White be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tegan Jade White.
May it please the court, I move that Tegan Jade White be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Tegan Jade White be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kelly Ellis Wilcox.
May it please the court, I move that Kelly Ellis Wilcox be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kelly Ellis Wilcox be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Holly Yuan.
Let Holly Ewan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alice Ling Yi Zhou.
Your Honours, may it please the court, I move that Alice Ling Yi Zhou be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alice Lingy Zhou be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Debbie Chung Ling Zhao.
May it please the court, I move that Debbie Chung Ling Zhao be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Debbie Chung Ling Zhao be admitted as a lawyer of this court. Now be necessary for the applicants whose admissions has just been moved to stand and remain standing as directed by the officiator for the purposes of swearing an oath or making a declaration. Please stand in accordance with the direction.
All the admittees on this side, please stand, thank you. Andrea Lara Bertoni, James Jackson Carroll, Vincent Jack Cooling, Megan Sarah Dibley, Jennifer El Azzi, Melissa El Faham, James Joseph Garraway, Catherine Graham, Gina Louise Groscops, Philip Evangelos Hatsis, Zilin Huang, Danny Louis Jan, Oscar Kelly Jefferson, Lily Monley Kong, Tanushka Kilcarney, Lisa Marie Lorenday, David Douglas Terence McClelland, Joseph Francis MacDonald, Christian Vincent Manali, Rosalind Martina Moffat, Elisa Bonnie Mullen Gringle, Aya Nassar, Molly Lillian Nicol, Mary Oakwood, Jordan Warren Oxenham, Elizabeth Jane Carlisle Paradise, Nina Pryker, Mackenzie Anae Roberts, Jonathan Michael Rose, Maria Ryan, Sharath Sashandran, Lucy Jane Shanahan, and Rohini Singh. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Would you please say, "So help me God," or "I do"? I do. Thank you. Please sit down. And the admittee to my right, would you please stand up? Chanel Toma, Lauren Kimberly Topper, Destiny Elisha Valencia, Jade Alona Walker, Julia Jan White, Tegan Jade White, Kelly Ellis Wilcox, Holly Wan, Alice Ling Yi Zhou, Debbie Chung Ling Zhao. Do you severally swear or declare and affirm that you will truly and honestly conduct yourselves in the practice of a lawyer of the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and that you will faithfully serve as such in the administration of the laws and usages of this state according to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Please say, "So help me God," or "I do." Please sit down.
Well, may I warmly welcome you all to the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today, to my immediate right, is Justice Baston, my senior judge of appeal of the court. To my left, Justice Kuntz, a judge in the equity division of the court, and to Justice Baston's right, Justice Dark, also a judge of the equity division of the court. Together, we constitute the court that has, in the exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice today. We've done so sitting in the Banco court on land for which the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation have cared and been custodians for thousands of years. The court pays its respects to the Gadigal elders past, present and emerging, and extends those respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. In the spirit of the Uluru Statement from the Heart, which is an eloquent, accurate and powerful statement which looks forward to a fuller expression of Australia's nationhood with great dignity, we acknowledge the regrettable reality that this nation's laws and legal systems have so often in the past delivered the opposite of justice to First Nations peoples. To all the newly admitted lawyers here today, welcome to the legal profession. I also extend a welcome to the President of the Law Society, Ms. Joan van der Plat, who joins us for this morning's admission ceremony. This is a day for great celebration for the newly admitted lawyers. They have all worked extremely hard to reach this milestone. Countless late nights of studying obscure problem questions, pages and pages of textbooks, or more likely screen time and more cases read, I hope, than they could possibly hope to remember. And for most of today's newly admitted lawyers, the journey has involved two extraordinarily challenging final years of study affected by the pandemic, and in which they have been deprived of many of the opportunities for the forging of close bonds with their peers and peers that those final years of study usually present. They have faced and come through additional adversity unprecedented in our lifetimes. And that makes you, the newly admitted lawyers, and your achievements all the more impressive, and the resilience you have developed will, I hope, stand you well into the future. It's in a spirit of optimism that I express my sincere hope that you enter the profession at a time when our society is exiting the dreadful impact of the pandemic. In being admitted as a lawyer of this court, you join a profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an oath on admission to practice dates back to the 12th century, and this court first admitted lawyers in 1824. By 1830, the names of lawyers were entered onto the rolls in the state, as you will do immediately after the ceremony. You have thus now become part of a wonderful tradition almost 200 years after it commenced in this place. Perhaps for some of you that may feel how long you have been studying for, and it may also reflect the experience of your family and friends who no doubt shared the journey, or not. But on that note, I'm also pleased to and do welcome those with you today or watching on the live stream. For many of you, the support of your family and friends will have been absolutely invaluable. No doubt they have also often been on the receiving end of your amateur but finely polished skills of argument and persuasion, and I encourage you to take time to thank them. Depending on how good an advocate you are, you might even convince them to shout you lunch or dinner to celebrate the occasion. Or you could do the right thing and take them out. The law touches every part of our society, and it can and will lead you, the newly admitted lawyers, in many different directions and career paths. But in whatever direction you head, you must always remember that the serious oath or affirmation you have just made is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, a Crown Law office, a government department or agency, or in an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice, and must strive at all times to uphold these cardinal values. Admission as a member of the legal profession is a privilege, it is not a right. It is an acknowledgement of the weighty responsibility you have undertaken that we observe today's unique formalities, including the fact that your admission has been moved by someone who is already a member of the profession, and that you have made a formal oath or affirmation in the presence of your family and peers. They are all witnesses to the promises and undertakings you have made today. As to formality, you will see from the portraits on the walls of the Banco court that we are wearing the same robes, in some cases literally, as have been worn by our predecessors. Symbolically, that highlights the continuity of the rule of law in New South Wales. In a world in which there is great global uncertainty and insecurity, the rule of law is more important than ever, and not simply a glib phrase of some theoretical import. It is the opposite of the arbitrary abuse of power and the rule of autocratic dictators and populists. There is nothing theoretical about that. Although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. COVID has meant a rapid shift to increased use of virtual courtroom setups and technology to ensure access to justice continued in the midst of the pandemic. Challenges have arisen in terms of open justice, effective communication, and fairness to participants, but for all the challenges we faced, new opportunities have presented themselves, including greater workplace flexibility, which is especially important for lawyers with family responsibilities. Better use of technology also has profound implications for how our legal system interacts with and may become accessible to more people, including those in rural or remote areas, those with disabilities, medical conditions, or carers' responsibilities which preclude them physically attending court. Now, although the increased use of technology offers a number of advantages, the practice of the law has human nature and human interaction at its core. An essential part of being a good lawyer is understanding people, how others react to different situations, perform under pressure, and deal with each other. As I said at my recent swearing-in speech as Chief Justice, while the remote practice of the law may be possible, it is far from desirable. There are, of course, other changes that deserve attention in addition to those brought about by the pandemic. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter a duality. On the one hand, we have come very far, and on the other hand, that much still needs to be done. For example, although women were originally not permitted to practice, since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practicing certificate in New South Wales, and currently make up 64% of solicitors under the age of 30. Women also occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the Chief Justice of the High Court, the Commonwealth Attorney General, and the President of the Court of Appeal, who was formerly the Chief Judge in Equity. Her Honour's predecessor but one was Her Excellency the Honourable Margaret Beazley, ACQC, now the Governor of this state. There should be not only gender diversity, but also strong representation of lawyers from many different backgrounds, which comprise our cosmopolitan community. Diverse representation amongst solicitors, advocates, and judges assists in ensuring that all people who become involved in our justice system can and feel that they can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. The admissions ceremonies, such as this, on which I have sat since becoming a judge just over 3 years ago, highlight that there is a far greater diversity of background among junior lawyers than when I commenced practice. That is a very good thing. You, the newly admitted lawyers, are in a unique position as you enter the profession at a time when, more than ever, your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unfair laws, systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable or unsustainable working cultures, sexual harassment, or bullying. You should speak up for the things that matter and in which you believe. Lawyers are articulate and passionate, and they play a vital role in our public community well beyond the day-to-day practice of the law. You, the newly admitted lawyers, are the future of the profession. And I would urge you in that spirit to engage with your communities outside the law. Your training as a lawyer in systematic thought, the importance of matters of principle and fundamental fairness, including due process and natural justice, equip you very well for service beyond day-to-day practice. You will also derive great satisfaction from such engagement. Now, turning from opportunities to obligations and a little bit of friendly advice. As a lawyer, you will often need to make difficult ethical decisions. You must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court and the administration of justice. One mistake which you must not make is to give your clients the advice you think they want to hear. That will not be good advice. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, said, you must be prepared to give the same answer to the same question for the same reasons, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur. That is very good advice, as you might expect from that great judge. Being a lawyer means that you are an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum, but law as it applies to people's lives. An individual in need of your services as a lawyer is in most cases an individual facing some kind of great personal challenge or crisis affecting his or her liberty, property, personal well-being, or health or financial position. For these reasons, you must always strive to deliver legal services sensitively, competently, and fearlessly, but always with courtesy and integrity. In that context, I want to emphasise the importance of civility. Aspects of the law, especially if you're involved in the litigation side of practice, are confrontational. The practice of the law can be stressful and demanding enough without personal animus and antagonism between practitioners adding to the load. It is essential that you maintain your detachment, balance, and good humour, remembering at all times that you are members of a profession and not a business. And remember this, the best advocates can and do make their point simply and succinctly. Often less is more. Some of the most experienced lawyers and judges, including myself, could use that reminder from time to time. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible, and one of your roles as a lawyer will be to make the law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes both. Strive to be clear and concise at all times in both your writing and your speaking. Let me also speak very briefly about failure. There will inevitably be quite a few overachievers and perfectionists in the room today. Even so, at various points of your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. We all make mistakes from time to time, especially when we're starting something new. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice, and when you do make mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from your errors. Finally, your physical and mental health are both extremely important. There may, and I dare say, will be times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out, or distressed. Legal practice can be all-consuming and physically and mentally taxing. You must work hard to keep your balance and keep your eye out to ensure that your colleagues do as well. If you do get overwhelmed by it all, as frankly we all have from time to time, try to take a step back and recapture some perspective, or suggest gently to your colleagues that they do so. In this context, also remember that the law is a highly collegiate profession, and in times of difficulty, the support and friendship of your peers will prove invaluable. You should also not be afraid to seek professional help if needed. Both the Law Society of New South Wales and the Bar Association, the two key professional associations, are fully attuned to the potential stresses of practice and are there to support their members. Can I say this to you all in closing? The law is a wonderful profession, stimulating, challenging, and satisfying, and is populated by intelligent, committed, and dynamic people. You should be proud to be a lawyer and of your achievements to date. You should remain proud to be a lawyer. It is a very important profession, and a legal career is one that can take you in many different directions, all of which are interesting and rewarding. Hold your heads up high and the very best of luck on the exciting journey that lies ahead. On behalf of my colleagues and all of the judges of the Supreme Court, I once again congratulate you on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The court will now adjourn.
All stand. This honourable court is now adjourned. God save the Queen.